Have you ever looked at your husband across the dinner table and wondered, is this the same man I married? Not because he changed, but because you suddenly aren't sure who you are anymore. My name is Lauren. I'm 32 years old. I designed apps that millions of people use every day in Austin, Texas. On the outside, my life was the Pinterest board come to life. A modern house with big windows overlooking the hill country. A golden retriever named Max, who photobombed all our pictures. And Ryan, my architect husband, who still opened car doors for me after 7 years together. We were the couple our friends tagged in relationship goals, posts, brunch at South Congress, weekend hikes at Enchanted Rock, plans for a family someday. But goals can be dangerous when they're built on lies. It started so small, I almost missed it. Last spring, I was making coffee like I did every morning. Ryan walked into the kitchen, kissed my neck, and said, "God, I love that you finally switched to oat milk. Remember how you used to hate it?" I froze a mug halfway to my lips. I had been drinking oat milk lattes for years. It was my thing. My sister even joked that I was the basic Austin girl because of it on our group chat. Ryan, I've always had oat milk. You used to tease me about it on our first date. He laughed that easy laugh of his, the one that usually made me melt. "Babe, you're mixing it up with Claire again." No big deal. The brain does weird things when you're stressed with that promotion. Claire. He had mentioned that name a couple times before. An old colleague, he said. But something in the way he said it this time made my stomach drop like I'd missed a step on the stairs. That night I couldn't sleep. I went through our old photos on my laptop while Ryan snored beside me. In every picture from our first year together, there I was with regular almond milk or even cow's milk. No, oat milk. But my memory was crystal clear. I remembered arguing with him about how oat milk was better for the environment and the cows. The next morning I tested him again. "Hey, remember that terrible Italian restaurant we went to in San Antonio? The one where the pasta was cold and we laughed about it later." Ryan looked confused, stirring his eggs. "Liv, we never went to San Antonio together. Our first big trip was to Big Bend National Park. You got that horrible sunburn and we laughed about it for years. But I could picture the Italian restaurant perfectly. The red checkered tablecloths. The fight we had about my ex texting me. The way he held my hand after and said, 'It's just us now.' It felt so real. I started keeping a private note in my phone titled Things I'm Sure Of. I have always preferred oat milk. We fought at an Italian restaurant in San Antonio in 2019. My mom died when I was 24 from breast cancer. The third one, Ryan never contradicted, but the first two, he did, constantly, gently, with that concerned look that made me feel like I was the one losing it. Work was brutal at the time. My startup was going through reorg. Everyone was anxious about AI taking jobs. Deadlines at 2 a.m., Slack pinks all day. I thought maybe it was burnout. Everyone my age is burned out, right? We joke about it on TikTok and Instagram. I decided to talk to my best friend Jessica over margaritas at our favorite spot on Rainy Street. "Girl," she said, swirling her drink, "this sounds like textbook gaslighting. My cousin went through something similar. Document everything and maybe see a therapist alone, not with him." I started documenting dates, exact conversations, screenshots of old texts where Ryan had clearly referenced the San Antonio trip. "Remember that horrible pasta? Never again." The more I wrote, the more the fear grew. Because some days when Ryan would hold me tight after a long day and whisper how much he loved the new me, I would almost believe him. Maybe I was confused. Maybe the stress had rewritten my brain. Then one weekend, Ryan was out of town for a client meeting in Dallas. I did what any rational person would do in my position. I went through his home office. And that's when I found the folder. It was labeled Bell Project Notes in his neat architect handwriting. Inside were pages and pages of notes, printed photos, timelines. Wheat 14 successfully replaced almond milk association with oat milk. Repeated story of a first time trying it on our trip 5 times. She accepted it. Memory anchor San Antonio trip. Replaced with Big Ben's story. Use photos from Claire's old album as reference. Repeat during stress periods. Claire. My hands were shaking so hard the papers rattled. There were dozens of photos of a woman who looked almost exactly like me. Same smile, same hair color, same way she tilted her head in pictures, but different eyes, a little sadder. Her name was Claire Thompson, his fiancée who died in a car crash 2 years before we met. Ryan hadn't just lost her. He had decided to bring her back. Through me. He chose me because I looked like her. He studied my social media for months before accidentally bumping into me at that coffee shop downtown. Then he spent years slowly, carefully replacing my memories, my habits, my stories with versions of her life, using repetition, gentle suggestion, and my own burnout against me. The "you're just stressed" line wasn't love, it was a tool. The man I loved had been erasing me to resurrect someone else. I sat there on the floor of his office, surrounded by the evidence, Max whining at my side and licking my hand. The psychological weight crushed me. How many times had I doubted myself over dinner? How many arguments had he won by making me feel crazy? The love bombing after fights, the "I just want the best for us" comments. It was all a system to remake me into his dead fiancé. I called Jessica in tears. She came over immediately. "We need to get you out of here," she said. "This is dangerous." But I couldn't just leave. I needed the truth from his mouth. When Ryan came home Sunday evening, I had the folder on the kitchen table. Max hid under the couch, sensing the tension in the air. Ryan, who is player really? His face went pale. Then he tried the familiar smile. "Babe, we talked about this. An old friend. Why?" I slit the folder across the table. "Because you turned me into her. The milk, the drips, the stories. You picked me because I looked like her. You rewrote my life to match hers." The silence was deafening. Then he sat down, head in hands. "Lauren, I loved Claire more than anything. The crash took her. When I saw you online, it was like a second chance. You were so similar. I thought if I helped you become a better version, the one without her flaws, we could have the life we deserved. I did it out of love." Love. The word tasted like poison. He admitted everything. The social media stalking, subtle suggestions during conversations, even using my burnout at work to make me question my memory. "It was easy," he said quietly. "People in their 30s are stressed. They forget things. I just filled in the blanks with better ones." I felt sick to my stomach. The man I shared a bed with, planned a future with, had been manipulating me for years. The psychological abuse was so subtle, so consistent, it nearly broke me completely. I left that night with Max in a suitcase, stayed with Jessica. The divorce papers came fast. Ryan tried to contact me, texts, calls, even flowers with notes saying I did it for us. But grief doesn't justify erasing someone's identity. In therapy, I learned the real terms: coercive control and memory implantation. My therapist explained how memory is malleable, especially under chronic stress, and how abusers use that. You trusted him because you loved him. That's the trap many people in their 30s fall into: career pressure, social media, the fear of being alone. It took months to rebuild. I started a new job with better boundaries. Max and I took long walks in the Texas hill country where I could breathe. I reconnected with old friends who reminded me of the real me. The one who loved almond milk sometimes, who remembered the San Antonio trip exactly as it happened. The takeaway for anyone listening: your memories are yours. If someone makes you doubt them constantly, run. Document everything. Trust your gut, even when your heart says otherwise. In our 30s, with careers and relationships pulling us in all directions, it's easy to lose yourself. But finding yourself again is the most powerful thing you could do. Today, I'm dating someone new. Someone who lets me be me. No rewriting needed. The app I designed is still out there, but now I'm designing a life that's truly mine. If you're listening and this sounds familiar, the small contradictions, the "you're imagining it" comments, the "I just want the best for us," know you're not alone. And you're not crazy. Your story is yours to write.